Hey guys, Mike and Angie this time. So we've been doing more and more of these. I know episode 200, we just had our celebration, our 200th episode celebration. This time we're celebrating something different. Our older daughter graduated from college a couple weeks ago, and we're in Cancun, and we got the whole family here. And that is going to be the message and the core message of this podcast, because we're watching triggering and healing and growth and evolution, and not lack of growth and lack of evolution. We're watching the whole thing play out within our family. We kind of wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, real quick, just want to give, we're at the beautiful Royalton Chic Suites in Cancun, and this place is absolutely amazing. Highly recommend it. We've got an amazing butler staff here, which is something we've never done before. We have 2 people dedicated to us all week, and they've just done a really great job of making us feel welcome and special, and putting balloons in Katie's room to celebrate her graduation. Just want to give a quick thanks to them.
Yeah, and planning this, Angie went above and beyond. We don't have a room, we have a suite. So we've got a jacuzzi. We're sitting right next to our jacuzzi, and we've got 2 jacuzzi tubs inside. We've got a pool table. We've got a stocked
kitchen.
We've got a stocked fridge. We've got butlers.
We have 3 stocked fridges.
3 stocked fridges. Yep, one in each of the bedrooms, and then one in a full kitchen.
Yeah, so, I love planning travel, so I could talk about that all day.
Yeah, it seems like our standards for vacation. I told Angie, I said she kind of screwed this one up because we keep leveling up in the quality that we keep experiencing, and it's like the standard goes up. I don't want to fall below the standard. This is amazing. But so let's talk a little bit about the evolution of our family. All right, and we want to bring you inside of our family. Our girls probably aren't going to like that we're sharing this.
They probably won't ever listen to it. Let's be honest.
They probably won't listen, but I don't think they would love if they knew what we were getting ready to talk about. But let's go back to Mexico 15 years ago.
Okay.
Let's talk about, tell the stories of where our family was, what vacation was for us, what we were doing, and how we showed up in our vacation.
15, even further, a little bit further back than that.
Yeah.
But back then, vacation was all about escapism, and it was go somewhere, get as drunk as possible. Kids went to the kids club, which they hated, and I regret. And Katie and Megan, I've apologized to them profusely a million times, because it was just an escape from the life that from our day-to-day lives. It wasn't, hey, let's go somewhere, enjoy another location. It was, let's get as far away from reality as possible and shut reality down as much as possible with alcohol and alcohol. That's pretty much what it was coming down to Mexico. And that always fueled conflict and drama and toxic vacations, because we were vacationing to escape our day-to-day lives. Once those feelings got expounded, I guess, by alcohol, it just became amplified and dramatic. And every vacation we went on, there was some sort of conflict between Mike and myself. Everyone. There were sometimes they were bigger conflicts than others. Sometimes they were just constant digs and daggers and things of the sort. And that hasn't happened for us in a very long time. In fact, just even in our day-to-day interactions with each other, if there's a tiff or something that happens, it comes and goes like that. There used to be times where we wouldn't speak to each other for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, and digging in a little bit more, vacation, and I remember this, Angie's anxiety would go up the closer vacation got. Is because she had this picture in her mind of what vacation should be, and like what she needed to wear on the plane, and the perfect hat, and having everything be perfect as she had it planned in her mind. And she had this vision for what this vacation,
what the weather was supposed to be, what the ocean temperature was supposed to be,
how we were going to act, how we were going to behave, going out on date night while we were on vacation. It's like she had it all planned out on her head. And the closer vacation got, the more anxious she got because she couldn't control this narrative she had in her head. So literally we would get to vacation where we were supposed to relax, and typically it was the exact opposite. Anxiety was there, panic was there. Angie got hospitalized one time when we were on vacation because her anxiety spiked.
The anxiety got so bad I actually suffered a what's called a TIA, a mini stroke, in Riviera Maya, Mexico, and that was simply because the freaking weather wasn't what I expected or what I had in my mind. Sure. Wow,
there was just a lot of control, and vacation was so incredibly important. And I remember when we were first together, and I want to keep amplifying how important vacation was to you. The very first vacation we went on, Angie had it planned to Ixtapa. And when we got pregnant, we couldn't. We were at a restaurant a couple weeks ago, and I said when we got pregnant, and the server got triggered. Like, what do you mean we got triggered?
She got pregnant?
But anyway, so we had that planned, and then we found out that we were pregnant, and we had to cancel. And I remember Angie saying to me, "If I die without seeing blue water, I'm going to haunt you for the rest of your life." It was like, and she was. It sounded playful, but I really. Vacation was so incredibly important to her that she wanted everything to be perfect and look a certain way so that she could feel this thing that she had always dreamt of in her head.
Well, and I think that that's another episode, because I have a very strong reason as to why that was part of my what I visualize as important, and we'll definitely talk about that, because that goes back to my father and Judy and my mom.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so we would get to a vacation spot, and Angie would go into hyper control mode and hurting mode and hurry mode and trying to control and make everything look, and her anxiety would be so freaking off the wall that there was no enjoyment, there was no peace. Our family, and listen, this isn't a blame game. We're way beyond any blame. This is just Angie was doing the best she could, and this is just the way she was built back then. So again, that's part of our healing and our growth. It was just that was where her level of consciousness was, and our family's level of consciousness just fed into that, and we all blended into a toxic mess. So this isn't Angie bad, everybody else good. This is we were all operating at the highest level of our consciousness and awareness. Just most of the time it wasn't very good. And the point to all of this is our girls grew up every year going to vacation where it looked good, but most times it was an awful mess.
Oh, it looked great on social media.
And there was drama and conflict and chaos and screaming and yelling and anger. And then we would get angry at each other. There'd be yelling and blame. And my little girls, their bodies were right there absorbing all of this freaking chaos. Our beautiful, amazing daughters that we love so much were in our space, and we thought it was just normal just to argue and get visceral with their little tender bodies, their sensitive bodies absorbing all of this chaos and all this drama, and that becoming part of their central nervous system and becoming part of their operating system. And it was impossible for them to ever feel safe, whether it be home or on vacation. And that is the foundation of what we're going to share today. That their bodies were naturally built or unnaturally built and unnaturally wired because of the environment they grew up in to be familiar in conflict, to be familiar, to feel some sense of being able to operate in chaos and drama and conflict. And when Angie and I started to put our lives back together and we started to build peace, and we started to build harmony, and we started to rebuild love and joy in our relationship, there started to be a sense of peace and calm in our house. And our older daughter didn't like it. And our older daughter said, and she literally said these words, I'm going to paraphrase, but she literally said the spirit of this. She said, "I wish you guys would have gotten divorced, or I wish you'd at least wouldn't have created peace." And it was because her body was wired for chaos, not for peace. And peace was so unfamiliar, her body didn't know how to operate and felt unsafe in it. So she would try to provoke us back into arguments to make the house get back to influence the house to get back to that level of freaking pain and chaos and conflict. You remember that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the first probably 2 years of us, 2016, 2017, of us rebuilding our relationship, our girls didn't know how to operate in this world, and they felt uncertain and unsure, like everything was just going to fall apart at some point. And I could see it in their bodies. And I want to go back to that. Their bodies had been wired for chaos. Their bodies had been conditioned to know how to survive in anger,
drama and conflict
and violence and aggression and abuse. Their little, tender, sensitive, at one time loving bodies took on all of this negativity and all this cortisol and all this adrenaline and had to learn how to operate safely in fight, flight, or freeze mode, in survival mode. And that brings us to today. Yesterday, actually, is we're here on vacation. We're here for 3 days. And what we've noticed is every time we've brought the girls on vacation over the last couple years, there's a conflict that boils up between the two of them. Yeah.
Which is the complete opposite of what it used to be. So last night there was, usually it's a conflict that over politics or religion, and last night it was over perfectionism, I guess, and following rules, and it was a silly fight. But before you knew it, Mike and I were in our room getting ready for bed, and next thing we know, we hear screaming and
they blow up at each other,
blowing up, and you're a fucking bitch, you're this, and I came out and it was like whoa, 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 and I had to come out and mediate between the two of them and be the voice of reason. And we used to joke years ago when we did start this healing journey that there were times where I would step in and I would be the voice of reason, and everyone would joke, okay, well, when mom becomes the voice of reason, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to mediate between the two of them last night over, again, a silly pool table balls, putting the balls together. It was absolutely silly. And
there were tears and anger and threats and
screaming and yelling, and they just mirrored what they saw between you and I,
which was reminiscent and harked back to the past, that we go on vacation and there had to be a fight.
There has to be drama. There has to be a fight.
Drama.
It happened last year in Mexico. We were in Cancun last year. We were in Paris and Scotland the year before, and they both got into it then. So every family vacation that we've been on since we got our shit straight, the two of them have had some beef.
And this morning I was talking to our younger daughter Megan, and I said, hey, Mom and I deserve, when we bring our family on vacation, Mom and I deserve, we're here for 3 days, we deserve peace. We deserve harmony. Like the investment that we make in this vacation, we deserve peace. We deserve a peaceful, enjoyable vacation without drama or conflict. And our daughter Megan, Angie wasn't there, our daughter Megan said, well, we have emotions, that's just how it is and how we are. And I was like, no, that's how you're wired. That's what you're familiar with. But we get to get over that and let that shit go. Because you're no longer in the environment of that shit, the drama, the conflict, but for whatever reason, your central nervous system, and I didn't go into this much depth with her, but the central nervous system, theirs, is still wired to expect and to invite and to initiate that level of conflict and drama. In the absence of it, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't fully feel right.
Right.
And even something really, really small that wasn't even provocative turns into something catastrophic, where then there's tears and there's anger and threats and blame. It was over pool table.
It was over putting the balls together in the pool table.
Yeah, but the point isn't what triggered the fight. Is we know why the fight was triggered.
But it's just to me, it's comical that they had nothing else to go at each other over. So something as small as that triggered them to step back into a space that they were familiar with. So it's just crazy to see it from that space.
Yeah, it is. But the point is, their little bodies now, they're 20, 23, and 20-year-old bodies. You know, even though they're not constantly in a state of drama and conflict, there's times where it's unfamiliar to be at a beach, to be in a beautiful place,
Yeah.
and to have no drama and no conflict. And our daughter, this morning when I was talking to her, she said, well, that's just how things are. We're sisters. No, that's how you're built.
Yeah.
It's not how you are, that's how you're built. And the work that Angie and I have been doing in our mastermind lately over the last couple weeks, I'd say, and some of the things that have started to come to the surface, it's about helping people understand, and we've always done this, but we've done it at a higher level, a more clarified level over the last couple weeks, is help people understand that things like that can be released from the body. Your central nervous system is built and wired from the past, from experiences, from traumas, from things that have happened in your life that built your central nervous system to, in some cases, in some form, to operate from survival mode, even in the absence of danger,
right,
or conflict. And what I mean by that is, I've noticed myself on vacation over the last couple days, walking around, and little Mike, let's go back to little Mike. Little Mike hated his body, right? And I was always ashamed when I was growing up of my body, and I didn't want anybody to see my body. When I went on vacation, I wore a t-shirt and got in the water, even though the t-shirt wasn't going to help, my body. But I was just ashamed of my body, and I'm still, and I've released a lot on it, and I've let a lot of it go, and I'm still working through it. But I noticed as I walk downstairs in the lobby and out by the pool, I still notice little Mike, because it's not Big Mike doing this, it's little Mike. I still notice little Mike trying to control the thoughts and trying to be seen a certain way and care about what people think about my body, not who I am, about my body. And that is a trauma response. Like when I was a kid, I got shamed by my brothers and people in my class in elementary school, and now it's still 52 years old. My body is still conditioned to operate from that place, and that's just work that I get to do more and more of as time goes on. But I get the experience of being in a place where I get to do that work. So I'm taking advantage of it and noticing it, letting it go, noticing it, letting it go, noticing it, letting it go. That's what we did with the need to argue and get angry and triggers, and that's what changed our marriage.
Right.
Anything to add to that? What are you working on? What have you worked on this week?
Oh my gosh, I literally just said this yesterday on our on our mastermind call. I blanked out for a second there. I've been doing a lot of work around finances, as you know, Mike talks about a lot. Last year, our business expanded exponentially,
fast,
and with that came a large financial gain in our lives. And I remember at that time when that happened, I remember feeling positive emotions associated with that financial expansion. Mm-hmm. And then as our business started to fall last year out of lack of clarity, and we've gained a lot of clarity since then, as the business started to fall financially, I noticed negative emotions associated with that, and the fear and the scarcity and all that stuff came in. And yesterday we were sitting on our mastermind call, and I space out when he starts talking a lot, because he just starts talking and he goes and goes, and I'm looking at the birds. I love watching the seagulls in the sky here. So I was watching some boats and some seagulls, and I was thinking to myself, I thought, you know, we've had nothing significant happen in our business in the past 7-8 months that would create financial expansion. And I was sitting there yesterday, and the thought of we're going to be okay came to my mind, and with that came a positive sacral response. So I feel my emotions in my gut. That's where I kind of get that happiness or fear. And I was like, we're going to be okay. And and to have that emotion not associated with anything, any event, any financial gain or loss was huge for me. So that's what I've been working on this week.
So you got to let go of a little fear.
Yeah, and and I feel like it's something that's been something I've been slowly working on since, last March or April, I believe it was. I think April or May. Anyway, I had a massive panic attack. We had a speaking engagement in Dallas, and I remember 2 a.m. in the hotel on the bathroom floor in a full-on panic, broke out in hives, and it was all related to, I saw our finances starting to really tumble. And so I've been working on that pretty heavily over the past year. And yesterday was just a whole different level of it.
Yeah. And it just happens that we were in Dallas, and it was the largest financial speaking engagement that we've ever gotten. So we're at an event that's paying us more than any speaking engagement has ever paid us, and she has a panic attack.
Yeah.
So it's not about the finances. You experience life through your body, not your bank account. We experience safety and security in our body, not in our bank account. And if you know anybody that has a lot of money that still feels unsafe, it's because they haven't done the healing work inside of their body. And on last week's business call in the mastermind, I remember emphasizing, because I'm a teacher, and when I teach, that's what she said, she spaces. But what I was talking about, there was one of the business owners was talking about, feeling fear and doing something to try to make more money. And I said, hold up, let's stop there. This is the Inner Wealth Mastermind. We're business owners and we run businesses, but that's not why we're here. We're here to separate the body and the business. You work on your body separate than your business. You do the work and take the action in your business to increase your income, but that feeling of fear in your body needs to be addressed separately from your business. You separate the body from your business. You work on your body, inner wealth, and then you work on your business, external wealth. But the inner wealth is what we're here to do. You can join many masterminds where they give you tactics and strategies that will make you money, and as the money goes up, your body will stay the same. And we're here to address the body separately from the business. And that body, the body needs to be given a higher level of awareness of what's happening inside of you, a deeper level of connection with your mind and your emotions, and the mechanisms for recognizing when your body is giving you survival signals and the tools to be able to release those survival signals. And no finances can do that. It's a false, when our finances went up, you got a false level of security. It's like, okay, now I'm not money scared anymore.
Like, okay, I'm okay now. I'm safe.
Because you put money over anything, you put money over it, and you're only gonna escape that survival for a little bit. And if you've ever known anybody that when they have nothing, they need $1 million. When they have $1 million, they need $2 million. And when they have $2 million, they need $3 million. It's because they're trying to change their body through their finances. And we're here to do both, our body and our finances. So the inner work creates a deeper level, higher sense of peace and fulfillment and freedom inside. And from there, we can go out and dominate in the world, in the material world. But it starts with that inner harmony. That's the work that Angie and I have done over the last 9 years. And our girls are in therapy and they've done some of the work. But this week we got to see what work is left for them, but we can't make them do anything. They still fight us about, well, that's just how things are. Right. No, it's not how things are. It's who you are. Right. And until you change who you are, nothing else changes. Yeah. Anything else to add to that?
No, yes. So next week you're going to actually, Mike has developed a process, nothing new, but a process that has resonated really heavily with the members of our mastermind, our Inner Wealth Mastermind, and our Inner Wealth community. So next week, you're gonna share that with the podcast listeners, which is super exciting. It gives a for the process.
What's it called?
It's called the drill method.
The drill method. So just playing around with this, and I know the work that's worked for me and created more harmony and peace in my body, and my good friend Brian Schroeder always said, Mike, is your mastermind doing the work? And I was like, I don't know how to define what the work is.
And when we introduced this system to them, we finally gave people who, oh, okay, so people would always say, well, Mike, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you do that?
Yeah.
And this method finally gave our students, aha, now I have an
Tools.
answer to, Mike, how do you do that?
And the reason it was so hard for me to come up with this is because for me, I didn't need a process.
Right.
I just intuitively knew how to do this work when I started doing it. And in the prologue in Inner World, Outer World, the book that comes out August 19th, I talk about my Kundalini awakening, where I sat down for a meditation and my body started rocking back and forth and friggin' violently, and my body was releasing all this energy and all this trauma. And that was my awakening, that there's pain and there's a stored emotion in my body, and that was my body starting to release it. And ever since then, it's been really easy for me. It's a process that I enjoy. I love it. I love the body work. I love doing this work, but I couldn't teach it because I didn't use a process. Well, I've established a process, and it's called the drill method. And next week, to Angie's point, next week I'll share the drill method. I've been sharing it a little bit on social media, not with details. But in the mastermind, I have given them details. And next week on this podcast episode, I will give you the process and invite you into the space to utilize this process with a group of people that are also utilizing this process. Yep. It's beautiful work. Yes. And the only thing this work does is create more peace, harmony, love, joy, and prosperity in the world. That's all. That's all it does. It just changes the world. That's all.
No big deal.
This work is not new. I didn't invent it. There's books like The Sedona Method by Hale Dwoskin, Letting Go by Dr. David Hawkins, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Guys, these books all say the same thing. It's about going into your body and letting go of the suffering instead of trying to change your circumstances to change it. And the drill method is going to help you do that. All right?
Thanks again, Royalton, Chic, Cancun, Sandra, Omar, our butlers. Amazing. Appreciate you guys so much. And we'll be back because I'm going to need to plan a vacation from this vacation for just
right.
Mike and I. So we'll be doing another one of these soon.
We're thinking about Cabo. We've never been to Cabo before, but we're thinking about Cabo. Maybe August, maybe right before the book launch. So we'll come back for the book launch all refreshed.
Yep, and then we'll be heading to Utah for our mastermind retreat in September, right afterwards.
If anybody's interested, we still have some slots left in our Inner Wealth Mastermind. We also have an Inner Wealth community. If you guys are interested in coming jamming with us, doing some work with us, we'd love to have you in. We've got some amazing people that have been joining. They're doing the spiritual work. They're craving the spiritual work. They're craving the woo. They want the internal peace. They want the internal harmony. They're not just after exterior wealth. They're after inner joy, inner wealth. If that sounds interesting to you, if it sounds like something you'd be interested in, then reach out to me and I'd love to have a conversation with you.
And last thing, to follow along with details on Inner World, Outer World book launch, please follow our socials.
Yep.
Inner Wealth Global, Mike Kitco, Angie Kitco.
Yep, lean into us. We'll help you. We'll only change the world together. Guys, love you from beautiful Cancun. We got another day and a half here. We like these little short trips. Our daughters love long trips, but that just means more arguing. So we like to keep them short so there's less arguing. And then we go on our own long trip so that we don't argue. We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks for your support. If you enjoyed this, I'd love if you gave me 5 stars, gave us 5 stars across platforms. Leave an awesome review. It'll help us reach more people and expand our reach and our impact. Love you guys. See you soon.